Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let me show you how I fill in this dirty, useless cavity above these cupboards and give it a nice, clean, crisp, modern look just like this. I'm going to fill this space with a sheet of MDF. It's going to make it a lot easier for me to do the cornice in this room later on because I'll run that across the front here. But that means that when I put this filler in, that piece is going to need to be fixed to the ceiling and not to the top of these cupboards. Otherwise you may end up having a bit of cracking between the cornice and the ceiling. So what we're going to do is we're going to screw some timbers up into the ceiling and then put a nice strong piece along that we can fix our MDF sheeting to. So first things first, we're going to need to locate the timbers up in the roof that we're going to screw into. I know that I've got two there and there, right where I've got these gyprock joints. So I'm just going to cut a couple of pieces, probably about 300 long, fix them in place the same distance back from the front of these cupboards, and then I'll put a long timber like this one right up there, which our MDF is going to screw straight onto. So let's cut these pieces. Okay, we've got our two bits of timber here. So now we need to fix them up on the ceiling. We need to make sure that we put these two pieces in the correct location and set them back the right distance from the front of these cupboards. So I'm going to transfer measurement with my level of the front of the cupboards up onto the ceiling here just with a pencil. So from the front of this cupboard we want to go back this 18mm, which is the thickness of the door. Then we want to go back our 10mm, which is the thickness of our MDF sheeting. Then we want to go back 35mm, which is the thickness of this timber. And that's how far back this timber needs to be set. I do want to add a little bit more, just because I don't want that MDF finishing at the front here. I want it to be set back maybe 20mm from the front of the cupboard edge up here. So, okay, so I've done the maths, and the measurement that we needed to set back from the front of these cupboards is 88mm. So I've gone ahead and I've marked my 88mm back from our first mark. Both ends of the cupboards, I've done that. And now I'm just going to draw a straight line from one mark to the other, just so that when I screw these bits of timber up, I can follow that pencil line and make sure that they're in line with each other. So let's do that. Alright, I'm really struggling to get those short little bits of timber up in place and hold them and screw them in place. There's just not enough room for my impact driver to get up there with those long 75mm screws. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to screw this full length of timber from wall to wall up here, and I've cut these little blocks so that I can prop it up in place, which is going to assist me with holding it while I'm fixing it in place. So let's give that a go. Okay, that's worked really well, so I'll go down the other end and do the same, and I'll see if there's any other locations that I can get some screws into, just to really make sure that I fix this in place. Okay, now this top timber's fixed in place, we're going to go ahead and put our next piece on, which is this one here. So this I'm putting here because it is 90mm wide. It just gives something a bit more solid for the MDF to fix to, and it's not just going to be wobbling all over the place. So once again, I'm struggling to hold things, so I've got my clamps, and I'm just going to clamp that up in place. No, I'm not. There we go, wedged it, no problem. Okay, so that worked really well, holding this in place for us. So whatever works for you, just go ahead and do it. Now we need to cut our piece of MDF to size. Now I'm going to be putting cornice along this front here, so I don't care if it touches the ceiling or not. I do care that it touches the top of the cupboards because I want to run a bit of gap filler along the bottom just to really seal it up. So I'm going to take a measurement here and probably come down about 15mm. Just to make it easier so it's not a super tight fit and we can just easily put it up in place, and then we'll screw it in place. So let's cut that. We've got our piece of MDF here, cut to size. So I've gone ahead and I've put a bead of liquid nails along the timber up here. I'm also going to screw it just with some button head screws. I don't care if they get recessed into the face of this or not, because I will have 90mm of cornice coming down here, so the screw heads will get covered. So I'm going to put it up, press it up against the timber, and make sure that it's sitting down hard against the top of this cupboard. And then when I go ahead and put the gap filler there, it'll seal it up nice, and you're not going to get any draft through there or bugs. It's just going to be a lot easier to keep clean after that. So we'll screw it in place. So I've just finished this job off just with the gap filler along the top of the cabinets. So I've got 8 screws plus the liquid nails holding this sheet of MDF in place. It's turned out to be really rigid. I'm really happy with it. So I'll give you guys a closer look now. And if you want to see more how-to DIY projects for your house, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.